Well, hello and welcome to the Internal Mobility Podcast, where we explore all of the ways for you to reach your potential here at Randstad while also making this giant company a little easier to know and understand. Today we have a special guest, Chynna Thompson, and I am really excited for her to share her full circle internal mobility experience. So with that, welcome, Chynna. Tell us about your journey.
Yes, Chris. Thank you so much for asking. Thanks for having me on the podcast. I really appreciate getting the opportunity to share my story with others who work with Randstad who maybe are interested in, as you said, making it a little easier to navigate. I started with the company really from another layoff, actually. So I originally started working with the Walt Disney Company after I graduated from college. And I had 2 great years there before the COVID-19 pandemic hit and a lot of Disney, as they're called, cast members were affected. Fortunately for those affected, Disney made the move to work with RiseSmart, one of Randstad's companies, to provide outplacement services. Through that, I was able to work with a career coach, have my resume rewritten, and even have jobs sent to me that were beneficial in kind of what I was looking for. So with that being said, I found a role with RiseSmart through their own services. And it was really fun and interesting to get that kind of connection going. So I started there and I was there for a year and I was working on sales support where I actually supported the Disney account that we had. So fast forward and I'm facing another change of business. And fortunately for myself, I had made it known that I was interested in recruiting, which as we know is Randstad's bread and butter. So when they informed me that my position was being eliminated, they did say, but we've already given your name to the internal talent acquisition team, letting them know you're interested in recruiting. And from there, it was just up to me to set up those phone calls with recruiters, talk to them about why I wanted to be a recruiter. And I was able to make the transition into that new position on the other side, if you will, of the business and joined Randstad SourceRight last February. Fast forward again, and we found ourselves in an area where internal talent acquisition was changing a bit. And there was an opportunity to support another different side of the business. So that's Randstad Technologies, where I started to hire for entry-level sales positions. And wouldn't you know, there was a position that opened in the Orlando market to once again support the Disney account that we have. So now, through Randstad Technologies, starting next week, I will join the business development specialist training class to learn the ins and outs of sales when it comes to the tech and staffing solutions we offer through Randstad Technologies, but specifically for the Disney account.
What a beautiful story. Wow, you really have gone all the way through, full circle. Excellent. So it's interesting too, as you tell your story, Chynna, like there's been some disruption, some adversity, some things that might shake people, right? Like I heard 3 different scenarios where your work was being disrupted. Like you were being downsized, the work was changing, the work wasn't available anymore. Like how did you turn that into a beautiful career story? Like how have you been able to navigate those moves?
I would say the biggest tactic I employed, if you will, is just my own personal gift of gab. I talked to anybody I could in the business about what I wanted to do, what I was interested in. And I even just talked a little bit about my personal passions, where a lot of folks found that, oh, if you have this interest in this area outside of work, it may translate for you into a role we have available here at Randstad. So I would say the biggest, like I said, tactic was just chatting with folks, networking, telling others what I wanted to do, and making sure it was clear to my management that, I was loving what I was doing and loving what I was learning, but there's always going to be something inside me, I think, that has a hunger for more. So letting them know too, I'm interested in learning more and doing more. What's out there?
Yeah, so that's consistent with some advice we've heard here in the past. One, making certain people know what you want and being very, very clear about your intentions with your leadership in particular. Right. And then two, I think it was Justin Priest that talked about networking and how it has so many positive benefits. Clearly, in your case, right, like 4 jobs via networking, it's pretty fantastic. All right, so Chynna, what's been your favorite human forward moment in the last couple of weeks?
So the last couple of weeks here in Florida, we did experience a lot of weather. Hurricane Ian came through at the very end of September, beginning of October, and devastated the South Florida area. We have a lot of folks in Fort Myers, in that whole area, who have been affected. And while this hasn't exactly occurred yet, the planning is in place. And next week, a group of Randstad employees are going to gather in the Fort Myers area to do a day of service for Hurricane Ian relief efforts. And I have to say, I think that is my favorite human forward moment in the last couple of weeks that I've gotten the, just pleasure to experience. I'm really excited to work with the others, meet some people finally in person, and give back.
Isn't it cool to work for a company that walks the talk, full of people that really do put their colleagues first and really do come along and care and support one another? It's a beautiful thing.
I have to say, it really is. So many people say they get into staffing and recruiting because they want to help people. And here we are helping each other. So you're absolutely right with walking the talk.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for being here today, and great success to you in your new role within Randstad Technology.
Thank you. Thank you.